Welcome, everybody, to another episode of HomeKit Insider. It is Andrew here, and with me, as always, is famed monkey groomer to the palace. It is Stephen Robles, who is quoted as once saying, "The hardest part about grooming monkeys is trying not to fall in love with the pretty ones." How you doing, man?
I'm good. I mean, I have no idea what you're quoting, but I'm here for it. I like it.
I'm pretty sure I heard you say that. I'm pretty sure you said that once.
Sure. Maybe you did. Maybe you did. You know, I'm sorry. It's hard to concentrate, Andrew, when you have 30 HomeKit devices not responding. Can I just say I'm upset? I'm upset. And listen, I'm not want to make this all about. Sorry, I'm screwing something in over here. I'm sorry that I want to make this beginning part a little bit of complaining, but I got bones to pick with 16.2 because it has screwed up my entire house. And I don't know, maybe you can help me and help our listeners in the process. But Apple Notes just added a thing where your face pops up when you're like in the note. I see your face.
Yeah, and it shows a cursor. Shows the cursor where you're actively working.
That's a new feature. That's a new feature. That's pretty interesting. Well, listen, that's not going to save you, Apple, because that little nice feature is nothing compared to the storm that is 16.2. Okay, but anyway, let me thank 2 5-star reviewers. I'm Matt77 from Switzerland. Thank you for the 5-star review. And somehow, I don't know if this is legit, but Apple Insider Podcast gave us a 5-star review. It wasn't me. And I don't know if someone has taken our name and made it for their own. I'm not sure. Maybe it was William. I don't know. Anyway, thank you to both of you 5-star reviews. Appreciate it. But here's the deal, Andrew. I'm going to look right now in my home app, and let's just see where we're at. Let's see where we're at. We're down to 18 accessories, no response. I updated to 16.2 everywhere. Yesterday, as we record, updated my iPhone, my Apple TVs, my HomePods. Everything's updated. And a bunch of devices are now offline. And I'm mad about it. Now, a bunch of people, because they had the whole home update. And we've talked about it because you did the beta. And you did the whole upgrade your home back end or whatever, and it's going to be good. That process errored out for me a couple times. Finally got it to go through. I had to remove another home that I had set up in there for whatever reason in my parents' house because that's not updated yet. So I removed I was trying to just do everything I could to get it to update. And when I finally updated it, now I got nothing. I got basically all my Wemo and Leviton devices are not connected. All my Wi-Fi related devices. So, and I've tweeted about this complaining. Some people were saying, just disconnect all your HomePod or all your home hubs, disconnect them all, turn off the power to your house, reconnect one home hub, turn the power back on, and then everything's fine. Now, I don't know about you, Andrew, but the amount of Apple TVs I have around this house that are mounted behind televisions, I'm not doing that. I'm not going to go around and unplug all these Apple TV. I'm not doing it. I would rather actually, because I have everything in Home Pass, shout out to Aaron, I have everything in Home Pass, I'd rather just reset all the devices and re-add them to home. But Andrew, this is ridiculous. This was supposed to be the good thing. I don't know, man. Did you not experience any of these woes when you upgraded your stuff?
No.
Okay, well, I guess we're moving on.
The only woes I had was, and we already talked about this, was that Faith lost her access to the house.
Right.
It was she was invited, but she wasn't there, and she couldn't do anything. Nothing showed up in her app, and she couldn't do diddly until essentially just resolved itself after about a day or so. All of a sudden, things propagated successfully, and her access was fully restored, and we've had no issues since. And that was only first beta. So now we've gone through a bunch of betas with 16.2 before the final release, have had no other issues, haven't had any of the other issues that you're talking about with stuff going offline or not responding. Everything's been quick and snappy and reliable. Seems to actually be listening to Faith more, and she seems a little salty about it because I'm like, "Do you tell Siri good night?" And that'll set our good night scene, and she'll set the scene, and she'll say a sarcastic tone, and Siri does it. And I'm expecting Siri to come back "You don't have to say it with so much snark, Faith. I heard you." And
wow.
I think it's just funny that Siri's been listening so well for her, because historically Siri does not like my wife and will just ignore her half the time. So that's been all great Like everything's been good. I did have to remove my other home. I did mention that the first time, is that you have to upgrade all of your homes to use the new architecture for whatever reason. But yeah, I had some vestigial homes that I just kind of removed, and it worked.
I'm so mad at it. I don't know what's going on. There was some other users on Twitter saying people who were invited to their home previously, like Faith had this issue. It shows like invitation pending, but they can't like get it. It's just so frustrating. So I guess I'll maybe give it another day where I can't control half my HomeKit devices. I don't know.
I would also say, Stephen, for the Apple TVs, don't forget you can use the thing within settings, like settings, system, and then you can hit restart. No, not to, well, you could do that too. I was just going to say hit restart, which is, I believe, comparable to removing power, because it's not sleeping. It's a full like power cycle restart. So you could do that instead of having to unplug them if you wanted to try to power cycle the Apple TVs.
Well, I did. Like, I went into my garage and I turned off the circuit breaker to like most of the places where the Apple TVs were. So like just the whole room's turned off. And I did that earlier this morning to see if it would fix it all, but apparently not, because I still don't have access to it. So hard resetting those, apparently not going to work. I'm just like, meh, Andrew. I'm just meh. I mean, but apparently this update fixed your Apple TV remote, right? Didn't you say that to?
Yeah. So far, no issues at all. The remotes have actually worked, which has been great. Because man, was it annoying! We basically didn't have a physical remote to control the Apple TVs since the new ones came, which I think is insane. And I don't know how Apple didn't issue like an emergency software update to fix these, because like as you pointed out on Twitter, it is not just me who was having these issues. It was very widespread, and there was nothing to correct the matter. And yeah, now we actually have 16.2 for tvOS, and seems to have fixed the problem. Also, at least for me, someone said they saw this back, but it looks like Apple removed that bar of recommended shows.
Yes.
That was put above the up next queue. I hated it. I hated it, Stephen. It was so obnoxious. You get to like scroll down to get to your stuff when you go to the TV app. It made me almost stop using the TV app, and we rely on that for so much, because at this point in time, everything is spread out across so many streaming services. So we're watching stuff in Peacock, we're watching stuff in Hulu, we're watching stuff. My wife has shows like on Bravo. There's ESPN app. Like there's so many different places that stuff can watch. And the Apple TV app is like one of the few places that you can actually get everything in one spot other than Netflix. The only thing, I don't know if you've seen this, Stephen, but this is also infuriating to me, and I would just love to mention real quick that Apple should fix this. I hate when you go to watch something and it changes where you watch it. Like we pay for like Hulu ad free or something, and then we'll go to watch something, and then it'll be like, okay, let's watch this in Bravo. I'm like, what? Why are you kicking me to Bravo? Put me to Hulu, where we have like all this other stuff. And like the same thing for like SNL. We'll go to watch SNL on Sunday mornings, and instead of taking us to Hulu, where not only it is and is recorded, it kicks us over to the Peacock app, which is where it streams now. And I wish you could like set like a hierarchy of what apps would open, like always open in Hulu, do this, or it would remember for the next time, because it keeps changing. And the only way you can do this is now you have to hold on to it. You click and hold, hit like view details, and then then you have to do it again, because that'll take you to like the show page. Then you have to do it again, hold on an episode and hit view details or view episode details. And then you'll have like where to watch, and it'll be like 10 sources down below of where to watch.
Yeah.
Why it changes, I don't know.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm so bothered by all these devices. The reason why too is because I spent this past weekend trying to get all of my devices responding, because I was installing new things that we're talking about later, and then to have them all just disconnect. Yeah, but anyway, the Apple TV. I mean, yeah. I wish. Do you ever use the JustWatch app, the JustWatch service?
No.
JustWatch is amazing. JustWatch is a website. You can go to justwatch.com, and it is also an app. I don't think they have an Apple TV app, but it would be amazing if they did, because JustWatch, you can basically search any movie or TV show, and it tells you where you can stream it. And it will tell you.
Okay. I have like 3 different apps like that.
Yeah.
I don't know the names of them, but I do use those.
Yeah, and it would be cool if like JustWatch had an Apple TV app where you could go to that, search a movie, and then it could kick you over to whatever streaming app. Actually, you don't have to pay for it, but anyway. Well, I'll update everybody. Anyway, that's just it's so frustrating, Andrew. And honestly, one of the devices I want to talk about in a little bit are the new Leviton. No, not Leviton. The new Lutron, Diva, and Claro switches, because I actually got them because they're like the new design stuff, and it works really well. Nothing Lutron ever makes ever disconnects. Like no matter what update, like so solid. And so, well, I'll talk about that in a second. Anyway, let us know, listeners, if you're having issues or if you've figured out fixes for some of these issues. I'm going to be trying to repair all my devices this week. So anyway, speaking of other updates, Eve actually updated, well, it's not out publicly yet, but there's an update to the Eve app that adds Matter support to some of their devices. And I believe you've got this update, right, for the app as well? You know what I'm talking about?
I do know what you're talking about. So there's I did a Twitter thread on all of the details here, but basically, yeah, they're starting to roll out Matter support. You do need to be running 16.2 on your devices to be able to use this update. It is an optional update. HomeKit users aren't going to get any benefits other than to be able to control from other platforms. Right now, only Samsung SmartThings with the version 3 hub is supported. Amazon Assistant, Google devices, those don't support Matter yet. So that's kind of where we are. But yeah, you can submit your email to Eve with a handy link that Stephen will, I'm sure, put in the show notes for everybody. But just put in your information there, and you'll get, it's rolling out in stages, but you'll get an invite to test flight to download the beta version of the app, optionally install and migrate. 3 devices right now are supported to Matter. So the Eve Room, is it the Eve Room, Stephen? The door and window contact sensor, the motion sensor, and the Eve Energy. Those are the 3.
Yeah.
Eve Energy, Eve door window, Eve motion. Those are the 3.
Yep. Now, I've seen warnings on some websites that covered this announcement, but when you update a product, let's say the Eve Light Strip is not one of the devices for the Matter update just yet, but let's say when it does get the Matter update, one of the features on the Eve Light Strip is adaptive lighting, which is a HomeKit specific feature. And it seems like once Eve adds Matter support for something like the Eve Light Strip, you update the Light Strip to Matter instead of whatever HomeKit is, that after that, you won't be able to factory reset and add directly via HomeKit. You can only add via Matter after that. And when that happens, you might lose that adaptive lighting feature. Does that sound like that's what would happen?
I don't believe so. You might not be able to add whatever directly to HomeKit, but as far as I can tell, Apple's added support of these on top of Matter. So things like adaptive lighting, historical data, because Matter, I don't believe supports historical data for things like the door and window contact sensor. So with HomeKit, it actually can support all that historical data, see graphically when your door and window was open. Same thing with the motion sensor, historical data there. And then Eve Energy has the energy monitoring built in, which is also, I don't think, supported by Matter yet. So all of those things are right now HomeKit exclusive features, but you should still be able to add them to Matter and then still use them in HomeKit. I don't believe just because you would possibly lose the ability to add to HomeKit, which I also don't understand why. I mean, if that's a thing, it would purely be a bug.
Right.
And my thought there would be you would just wait for a firmware update to correct that issue if that was a thing. But for me, I did not have that. Did you upgrade any of your devices, Stephen?
No, because I upgraded to 16.2 and then half my house disconnected. So I was I'm not doing any other updates. I'm not adding the Matter.
You might have mentioned that. I think I do. Did you mention that? I think I heard you.
I think so, but I was close to it because I got the test flight email and I was ready to do it, and then I was like, no, I'm not doing anything else. Like, this is enough. This is enough for me today, this week, this month. Not doing it. So, but did you get to update anything?
Okay. So yeah, let me walk you through the process, Stephen, because it's funky.
Yeah.
And I'll show like screenshots where I can. But basically, so once you do the beta app update, you're going to be taken into the Eve app. You find an accessory, like here's my door and window contact sensor. You have that icon in the middle, upgrade to Matter.
Right.
So once you do that, new modal appears on the bottom of the screen saying, do you want to upgrade to Matter? Then it's going to check your home for compatibility, making sure you're running the current 16.2 and making sure you have a home hub, because that's also required. And then it's going to give you a Matter setup code, which I don't want to show this part, but it gives you the option to either save that to photos. Well, I guess it's a share sheet icon, so you can share it directly into HomePass, which is what you had mentioned there, or you can print it out, or you can save it to photos. So I did just save mine to photos, so I end up with a QR code here inside of the Photos app.
Right.
Then it tells me to verify my Matter setup code, and I can actually use the camera to scan the QR code if I had printed it out, or I can actually choose the photo from my gallery, and it'll open that photo essentially and scan it and verify it that way too. So that's nice and a pretty smooth process, though I wish they made it more clear, like it's a lot easier if you do that. Because if you just like save it into HomePass, now you got to get back into HomePass and remember that code, switch back to here, go through, save it to photos, or print it. It's a lot easier for the setup process. Then you're going to just have a little standard kind of migration thing going on, little bar. It did take a bit of time. It downloaded all my historical data, installed the firmware update, and then moved on to the next step. Then it said I needed now to scan. So before I had verified the Matter code, now I have to like scan it again, which is where it's like, exactly, it's weird. And then after that, it gets added back to the Home app. And now you have, or maybe this is Matter setup, but Apple has skinned it or changed used the UI, because these are all native iOS stuff. So this might be like the Matter setup. But yeah, it goes through the standard thing, like give it a name, assign it a room.
Yeah, same. Yeah.
And then you can assign which I don't know if I saw it. See, this is why I think this is Matter part, because I don't think I've ever seen for a contact sensor, or this is 16.2 stuff, Stephen. Have you ever seen a contact sensor show up as the possibility of this is taking so long to focus for Stephen just staring at my blurry ass screen.
I am.
A contact sensor can be blinds or a garage door.
I've seen
door and window or a contact sensor. Yeah, correct. So I think this must be Matter, even though it's skinned to look just like HomeKit.
Yeah.
Because these are all just native iOS components that they're doing for the Matter onboarding experience. But then, of course, you just have your confirmation added to the house, and it's done. Then I have a confirmation screen, says update complete. But that is the laborious process of moving an Eve device to Matter. I didn't really have any issues. The only issue that I originally had was I didn't read the words, and when it came up and said, I'm like, next, and then it's like scan. I'm like, wait, am I supposed to scan the HomeKit code on the side of my door and window, or am I supposed to scan the new Matter code? And it was the new Matter code that I need to scan. So originally I scanned this one again, which is dumb because the Matter code replaces your HomeKit code. So
which I'm curious after that firmware update,
but
if you were to remove that Eve Energy or that contact sensor from your Home app, and then you factory reset it and try to scan the HomeKit code again, I'm curious if it will allow you to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. My thinking is right now, this device is a Matter device. The firmware has been updated. This is now Matter. My guess is if I reset this, removed it from my home, it would need to be re-added using the new Matter verification code. So this one is done, expired, the code that's printed on the device, and you would need to use the new Matter one.
Right, which I think users need to keep in mind, because I know there have been times when I've maybe forgot to save something in HomePass, or I don't have the box anymore, and I've had to factory reset a device, and the QR code on the physical device is the thing that saved me being able to use it, because I didn't have any other way to do it. And so if you upgrade something to Matter, like that Eve contact sensor, and for some reason a year later you have to factory reset and add it back, if you don't, it should be in your Photos app, but if for some reason you printed it out and didn't save it, I would imagine you would be up a creek, because if that HomeKit code is no longer active, then you can't use it. So I don't know, just to keep in mind. And also, to be clear, now that you've added it to Matter, as a basically all HomeKit home, do you gain any additional benefit from this?
No, that's what I was kind of encouraging people at the beginning was HomeKit users don't get any benefit here. Matter does not give you anything new here by upgrading your existing devices. The only benefit that you're going to get is if you have other users in the house that are using Android phones, or you have like Amazon Assistants or Google Assistants that you want to be using with these devices. But even then, two of these devices are passive sensors. I mean, the only one you can actively control is the Eve Energy. So it's not a massive benefit for HomeKit users unless you fall into those categories. The other thing is if you have something like the other controllers, like a Samsung Hub or whatever, and you want to be able to control it through those things. Like I do have a Google Nest Home Hub, whatever, sitting here that I want to be able to test this stuff with, and it should show up on the screen. I can control the door and window that way, even without using like the Google Assistant voice stuff. So there are those like minor benefits, but there's no like new features unlocked. Right,
exactly. So I won't be upgrading anything to Matter just yet. I'll be fixing my whole HomeKit instead, HomeKit Home instead. But I mean, it's cool. It's getting realer. It's getting more real. Matter. I am believing it as I see it. You can
see it, Steven. You can see it.
I can see it. You know what else I can see? I can see doctors in my area that are reviewed by other users using the free app ZocDoc. So good. Oh, that transition is so good. Listen, they have all the bullet points we normally read, but I just want to tell you, I actually used ZocDoc yesterday because, we moved over the summer, new house and everything. We're in a new town. Don't know any doctors in the area. Was looking just for a primary care physician just to do annual physical stuff. And guess I didn't think about searching anywhere. I just went to the ZocDoc app. And let me remind you, because it had been a while since I set up some insurance. I have like a new insurance provider that I hadn't set up yet. Went into the ZocDoc app. You can scan your insurance card and it will pull your insurance plan as well as your insurance company just right from scanning your card. And because it knows not only your provider and your plan, when you search for doctors, it will just surface doctors that take that exact insurance. You can do it for optometrists, dentists, and then also specialists and primary care physicians. I searched in my area, primary care physician, annual physical, and a bunch of them popped up. I could see star ratings. There were some that were like 3.5 stars. I was like, no, thank you. There was like 4.5 stars. Like, all right, I see you. And then there was like a 5-star doctor. And I was like, that's the person I'm going to go to. And it was nearby. And I was able to book an appointment right in the ZocDoc app. Didn't have to call anybody. Got one. The appointment was this Friday, so it was just a couple days away. And it was amazing. So that's just a personal. It's incredible. It's the free app. It shows you doctors who are patient reviewed, take your insurance, and available when you need them. I just used it myself, and it was amazing. And I love being able to see those reviews. They also have telehealth appointments that you can make. It's just awesome. So find a doctor that's right for you. Book an appointment in person or remotely that works for your schedule. Every month, millions of people, Andrew, use ZocDoc. I'm one of them. I literally just used it yesterday as we record.
I was going to say, we actually used it like a week ago. Hey! And it was fantastic because Faith hasn't been feeling well, and she has like something where her like ear was really bothering her, like an ear weevil or something. I don't know, but she needed to run in to a doctor, and she didn't want to wait for like her normal primary, so she wanted to go into like an urgent care clinic or something. And there's the one like right down the road, and she was able to like pre-register right on the app. So she drove like 5 minutes away, walked into the office. Within like a minute or so, they called her name to go back, and the whole room is full of people, and she walked like right past everyone who had just walked in and was waiting in line. There's this guy who had like kids. I was like, what the heck is this? oh, I wait so hard. She like just walked in. Hilarious. Like, yeah, she just pre-registered in the app, walked right through, skipped the line. Fantastic. Amazing. So easy to do.
Amazing. Look at that. We have both used ZocDoc. Listen, viewers, listeners, try it out today. It's totally free. You don't have to pay anything. You just download the free app. So go to ZocDoc.com/HKI. Download the ZocDoc app for free. You start your search for a top-rated doctor today. Many are available within 24 hours. That's ZocDoc.com/HKI. ZocDoc.com/HKI. Thank you, ZocDoc, for helping me find a doctor. It was really easy. All right, let's get on to
perfect timing since the entire world is sick right now. Like literally, like
what
everyone
is the
I know.
deal?
I still feel terrible. I am still coughing.
Is this the long COVID? Is this what people talk about when they say long COVID or something? Like,
no, I think it's from everything that I read. It's just because we've been like hibernating the last like 2 years, and people have been staying inside and wearing masks, and things like RSV, flu, cold have all taken a back seat and have not spread. So people, one, they had started to lose some of their immunity or their resistance to some of these common illnesses. So they're just like spreading like freaking wild right now. So it's been just a really bad flu, cold, RSV, everything going around. Harrison, I'm pretty sure, has got something right now. Our nephew, just everyone's sick.
Not fun. But listen, ZocDoc makes it fun to book a doctor. Hey, turn around. All right.
The doc you got.
The doc. Ooh, that's a good tagline. New Kasa smart plugs. I actually saw a Kasa smart plug in the wild. I was taking my daughter to a piano lesson, and I saw some Christmas lights plugged in outside, and I saw a Kasa plug on the exterior of the house. I was like, hey, I know that brand, Kasa. So what are these new, do these happen to be Thread smart plugs? Maybe?
I don't remember.
Okay. Let me look at this. Kasa, K-A-S-A.
So the last name
Kasa smart plug.
I don't think so. I think I had actually asked, and I don't think I had gotten.
Okay.
I even asked if they're planning to support Matter, and I had not gotten a response back yet. But yeah, there's 3 different ones: the KS220, KS200, and the EP40A. There's a smart Wi-Fi light switch with a dimmer, Wi-Fi light switch, outdoor smart plug.
Okay.
All
a lot of stuff.
HomeKit support. Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, the Kasa
pretty
Apple
cheap too.
HomeKit. Yeah, that's the deal. I'm looking at the smart dimmer, no hub required. It's a Wi-Fi switch, and they have the it's neutral wire required, but $27. $27 for a smart dimmer HomeKit. That's pretty inexpensive. Not bad.
$25 for the regular light switch and $30 for the water-resistant outdoor plug. Perfectly, just slightly late for all of the holidays. If you still got holiday lights,
as far as where I'm at, these Kasa switches deliver same day. So, like you can get it in the afternoon if you order in the morning. So it just depends where you are. How close you are to an Amazon thing. But yeah, very cool. Now you had some words for Nanoleaf because they had some confusing sales about their bulbs and such. So I guess it's your time to vent, Andrew. What's going on? How you doing?
Okay, I'm gonna try to keep this short because we do have other stuff to talk about. But Steven, okay, after the last debacle, and we had a lot of people asking us on Twitter, like, what's going on with the Nanoleaf sale? Because we had said that Nanoleaf was gonna have like around Black Friday, Cyber Monday, like $5 essential bulbs and like $10 light strips, and come actual that day, there was a $50 minimum, which is fine because I was going to buy like 10, enough for a $50 minimum. But there was a limit of 1 per person, a minimum of $50 spend, and a promo code was required. And it just created a whole lot of confusion. People were very frustrated at all of that. I mean, you could only get 1 and had to spend $50 outside of that. And then there was like secret promo codes that were like on certain pages of the website. So it was a mess. But Nanoleaf had listened, and they came back out and they're like, we're going to make it better. We're going to do the sale again, and we're going to do the $5 smart bulbs, the essentials bulbs for HomeKit, $5, no limit for users. You still have to spend $50, but especially if you're planning on getting multiple, like that is not bad, and they're still $5 a piece. I'm cool with that.
Right.
The sale starts, Steven. First thing says, limit of 20 per person. I'm like, okay. It's just told me no limit per person, but whatever. I'm not buying 20. So then I go to like add to cart, and it's like limit of 10 per person. I'm like, you just said none. Then you said 20. Now it's 10. Like in through the checkout flow. So like that was a whole thing, which I believe they fixed after I let them know about that. But then it wasn't even giving me the correct pricing. It was showing I added like 10 to my cart. It would charge me like $15 or something for the first like 8 bulbs, and they gave me 2 for $5 a piece. Which I would think like maybe charge me for like the first like 3 or something at full price to get me to the $50 minimum, and then give me the rest for $5. But it didn't even do that. It charged me full price for 8 of my 10, and it was still charging. I'm still at $100+ for the bulbs. Yeah. So I just gave up. I don't know if anyone else had any better luck with this sale, and I think the sale is over again by the time that you guys hear this podcast. So once more, you guys can't take advantage of it unless I tweet about it, which I guess I could try. But since I couldn't buy anything, I'm not excited to tell people to go try it. So I don't know what's been going on with Dana Leaf, but I'm bummed. I wanted to outfit some rooms with some more of these bulbs, and I guess that's just not meant to be.
Not meant to be. That's a shame. So, yeah, sales are weird. Sales are weird too, especially when it's like Amazon, because like some promo codes will work on Amazon. Sometimes promo code is just on the maker's website. Sometimes they don't even know. Like they don't know where it's going to work. So it can be a mess. But anyway, hopefully you got some bulbs. Let us know if you were able to get some and what the magic was to get it. Real quick, Airversa, they are now coming out with a thread humidifier. They had the thread air purifier before. We talked about that, and now they're coming out with the Humel. And Angel Vargas on Twitter sent me the link first. Actually, that's the first time I saw it. But it's going to be a humidifier. It looks like the old school JBL speakers where it's like this like clear, transparent.
No, it looks like the Harman Kardon, that flagship one.
That's what it is. Yes. The Harman Kardon. That's right. Looks cool. It's not available just yet, but it will be a thread humidifier and obviously HomeKit as well. So that looks cool. And this was in pairing with the Purell air purifier from Airversa. Yeah. So that's cool.
I'm definitely going to pick one of these up. So the Harman Kardon one was called the Sound Sticks, and those were actually like co-designed by Apple. So I don't know if like Johnny Ive was that thing is still available, by the way. Like Crutchfield Audio still carries those, which are wow. It honestly is such a cool looking speaker, and it still looks pretty sweet.
It is cool.
They are Johnny designs. They're in MoMA.
Oh wow! Look at that. That's cool. Yeah, that's cool.
So this looks like a Johnny Ive designed humidifier. That's all we're saying. Just a Johnny Ive designed humidifier that's what it is. With thread.
That's what it is. Also, Level Lock Plus, the one with HomeKey that we had waited for so long, is originally just available directly in the Apple Store. You can now buy it on Level's website directly if you would like. At the time of this recording, I don't know if you would get it in time for Christmas. Have no idea when the episode airs if you'll get it in time. But if you want to buy directly from Level Lock, you now have that option, and we'll put that link in show notes. So same price, but that's cool. Have fun.
Now everyone lives near an Apple Store. You never know what their stock is going to be. And I still ridiculously love using this lock, Steven. Like, it's just so nice to be able to walk in carrying things, like just tap with my watch, and it's in. It's so fast. It
sounds great.
I really like it.
It's wonderful. Yeah. Wish I had one. I want to get one. I still want to get one. So I will try soon. But anyway, got a couple more things, little reviews I want to do on the Leviton scene controller and those new Lutron lights. But let's thank our second sponsor, which is our friends at Collide. Listen, the challenge with endpoint security has always been that it's difficult to scale. And when remote work took over, that challenge got exponentially harder. You need visibility into your fleet of devices in order to meet security goals and reduce service desk tickets. But how do you get that visibility when different parts of your company run on Mac, Windows, and Linux? Well, the answer is Collide. Collide is an endpoint security solution that gives IT teams a single dashboard for all devices, regardless of their operating system. And Collide gives you real-time access to your fleet's data and can do things that mobile device managers can't. So instead of installing intrusive agents, those things are so annoying. I've worked in places where you have to install like that agent from the IT department, and it locks things down, and it's always running, just staring at you, mocking you. So annoying. Well, you don't have to do that. You do Collide. Collide takes a user-focused approach, communicates security recommendations to your employees directly on Slack, and you can answer every question you have about your fleet without intruding on your workforce. So visit collide.com/HomeKit to find out how. And if you follow that link, they'll hook you up with a goodie bag just for activating a free trial. Free goodie bag with a free trial. That's KOLIDE.com/HomeKit. Collide.com/HomeKit. Links to that is in the show notes. Check them out. Collide, free goodie bag. Now, I thought this was cool. The Dexcom G7, which is a blood glucose monitor, looks to be out. You actually had your hands on it. You have one. Oh, my goodness. There it is.
A little bit. It's yes and no.
Okay. So what
this
is
I've got a few different things here. So first up, this is the G7 as the actual patch itself. I'm going to be a pain in the butt to focus for the video, folks. But yeah, this is a CGM. It's launching. It just received FDA approval for the U.S. in early December. I think like December 8th or something. It finally came through. And these are going to be hitting store shelves, pharmacies in the very early part of 2023. And they had already launched in Europe. The new model is 60% smaller than the Dexcom G6. I actually have one of my G6 sensors right here that I will try to, again, hold on. Nope, throwing things around. And even just holding these up, they're not, it doesn't even look like it's that much smaller than the G6, but part of it is like the thickness. The G7 is a whole lot thinner than, the G7 is a lot thinner than the G6. And the G6 actually has like a whole cradle that has to like snap into when it's mounted on your body, which adds additional girth that the G7 doesn't have, because the G7 is an all-in-one unit. It's got the adhesive back. It has this fancy new insertion tool. Where there's a button on the side, it just kind of primes, press it against your skin, and boom, it's in. The G7, same 10-day wear time as the G6. It has no finger stick calibration at all. It has a 30-minute warm-up time, which is down from the 2-hour warm-up time as the G6. And it has a 12-hour grace period, which is really handy, because when the sensor ends, like there'd be times, like, especially like parents sending a kid to school, your sensor could end in like 3 hours, but they're going to be gone for an entire, whatever school day is, 12 hours. I don't know, but they're gone, and you need to like decide like, okay, am I going to take off their sensor, or and put a new one on before they go to school and lose the 3 hours? Or am I just going to like let it run out, and then they're not going to have their CGM for the rest of the day? And like, you don't really want to have to make that decision. But G7 has that 12-hour grace period, so you can find a proper time to make the move to a new one. So the whole thing is just disposable. You take it off and pitch it, versus the G6 that had that removable transmitter that went into the sensor, and you would save this for like 3 months or something, whatever it is, that the G6 would last. The G7 is also rated for additional places. It can go, the G6 would only go in your stomach. Even though people would wear it other spots, G7 can go on the back of your arm. If you're above 2, and then they say on like the upper part of your butt for kids ages 2 to 17. I don't know if you're not supposed to do that if you're over 17, but really the back of the arms is like the best place. And since the G7 is so slim, it's going to fix my problem, which was every time I would take off my shirt, I would catch it, which is probably why you shouldn't wear the G6 on your arm. But the G7 is so much smaller, so much slimmer. I don't think that's going to be a problem. So I'm excited for the G7. It isn't supported with insulin pumps quite yet, but they say they're working to get that resolved as fast as possible. And the other thing for Apple users, this guy is supposed to, it will have a firmware update or software update for the app to allow direct connection to Apple Watch. So you can leave your iPhone and you do a run, do a workout, and get your CGM alerts and real-time blood glucose readings right on your Apple Watch. Which is the biggest feature for me that I've been missing, because I do have a cellular Apple Watch. I will go on a walk, but I have to bring my iPhone because I need my CGM alerts, and being able to have that directly on the watch without my phone would be fantastic. Or if you're like in the water, you're swimming, you don't have your phone with you, you can still keep an eye on your glucose. So I'm pretty excited. I wish this was like a real one that I could actually test it out, but it's just dummy units right now to get an idea on the feel, the size, the insertion process, all that kind of stuff.
Okay. I mean, it sounds really cool. Hopefully you get to when does it come out, or when do you think you'll be able to get your hands on it?
I think just early 2023 is what they're promising right now.
Okay.
I mean, now that it's gotten FDA approval and they've already been in manufacturing, especially because they've been releasing overseas, it shouldn't be a long wait. I think it'll be pretty quick next year.
That's really cool. Well, very cool. We have an article on Apple Insider. We'll put a link in that in show notes. In early 2023, you can hear a firsthand experience of that. Very cool. All right, so I want to do quick 2 mini reviews. And also, listeners, let us know if you like these kind of like mini reviews where it's not like a huge release product. Maybe it's product's been out for a while, but it's new to us or something that we just bought, Andrew and myself, and we want to talk about it. So what are we going to say?
I also like doing like the mini reviews on things that aren't necessarily like pure HomeKit. Like if we spend like 10 minutes on like a HomeKit air purifier or something, but if we spent, 5 minutes or just a couple minutes talking about like a MagSafe stand or something else is like beneficial to the smart home, I like doing those. So it would be good to know if other people like these quick mini reviews of tangentially related products.
So let us know. Tweet at Andrew and myself. Our Twitter handles are in the show notes, as always. But real quick, I want to show everyone the Leviton scene controller. I got this last weekend. We had talked about it months ago, probably when it came out, but I went to Home Depot to get something, and I saw this just sitting there, and I was like, I could just get this right now? Well, let me do it. And so it is a HomeKit switch. So the bottom button is a physical switch, on-off switch, not a dimmer, just a switch. But then it has 3 buttons on top of it, so 4 buttons total on the scene controller. And you can program those 3 buttons to do whatever you want inside HomeKit, right inside the HomeKit app. So replaced one of my old Wemo switches with this one. And I have got to say, I really, really love this thing. First of all, the response is very fast. It is just a Wi-Fi switch. It's not Thread, but it seems like really fast, just turning it on and off. So that's cool. It's been disconnected.
I like Wi-Fi. People shouldn't fight the Wi-Fi products. I think they're great.
It is really, really good. It disconnected after I updated to 16.2 and updated my home, so I got to reconnect it. But before that, it was solid, and it was doing really well. Really fast response. One of the things I really love about it is the button clickiness. Now, I know this might sound a little strange, but there's a lot of HomeKit switches and smart switches that could feel mushy, or they're like weird, like you have to click in a specific place and you're not sure if the click actually registered. This thing is like a healthy click. It's like click. I mean, that's not really what it sounds like, but it is a healthy click. You press the button, and I just really love that. So I love the clickiness of the buttons, and I set the 3 buttons, one of like kind of a good morning scene. The second button is like, we're going to watch something scene for our family room. And then the third scene is like, hey, everybody go to bed scene. So it shuts the lights off or whatever. And I just love having those physical control buttons right on the wall. That place is like, it's outside of a toy closet that's right outside our master bedroom. And so we walk by it pretty often, like whenever we're going in and out of the family room. And so it's so convenient just to hit a button, run a scene. And I just highly recommend. So if you want something that like is kind of a scene controller, you can program multiple buttons, but is also a switch. So you can just basically switch out one of your current light switches, but also get 3 other buttons to control your home. Highly recommend. I love it. And just to piggyback off that very quickly, while I was looking at that Leviton home scene controller, I saw the new Lutron switches, the Lutron Diva, which is the dimmer, and the Claro, which is a switch. So these are Lutron Caseta, so they're wireless HomeKit, all that. But these are the newly designed switches. So they don't look like the old Lutron switches where it has little icons and the whole plate is kind of flat. I'll put a picture as the chapter art. I forgot to take one of the actual switches. They look like regular paddle switches. The dimmer, the Diva, has the little slider next to the paddle, and that's what you use to dim, much like... actually, I'm not sure if there's another HomeKit switch that has that kind of like separate slider. Like the old Wemo ones, you touch swipe. The Leviton one, you like press up and down for dimming. So this one is actually like a slider on the Lutron thing. And I just love these switches. Clickiness is good. They look just like dumb paddle switches. So if you're wanting to put it next to a dumb paddle switch, they match perfectly. And I like the little dimming thing. There's one little LED light on the switch and dimmer, but you can program in the Lutron app whether you want that light just to be off all the time, or you want it to be on when the light is off, or you want it to be on when the light is on. You could adjust all that in the app. But when it comes to switches, reliability, of course, Lutron is probably one of the best. But when it comes to just really nicely designed switches and dimmers, these are the ones that I'm probably going to go for as we go forward. It's not Thread. It is Lutron. You need the hub for Lutron. But, man, just the reliability, the feel of the switch, the look, just really like it. So 2 thumbs up for both of these things, the Leviton Scene Controller and the new Lutron Diva and Claro. Thumbs up. What'd you send me here, Andrew? You said something in the chat.
As you were talking about like how you loved like the click of the button, it reminded me of one of my favorite running topics on The Verge, which is the button of the month. And I totally love this. Like they would feature like a different button that has been well designed each month. I don't know if this is still like an ongoing feature that they're doing, but they've talked about a lot of them, and a couple times like, yes, I know exactly the button that you're talking about and how good they are. Like the adaptive triggers on like the PlayStation 5 DualSense controllers. They had talked about like the Apple TV remotes on there. Yeah, there's a bunch of different buttons that they have gone through, but I think it's a very small thing that people don't talk about, but it definitely matters. You can feel how good a button is.
Button matters. Buttons matter. So anyway, if you have questions for Andrew and I, let us know what you think of mini reviews. Tweet at both of us. Those Twitter handles are in the show notes. Leave us a 5-star review in Apple Podcasts. We'd appreciate that as well. And watch us, youtube.com/HomeKit Insider. You can see Andrew showing all the stuff he did today. We're sharing images here and there of the stuff we talk about. So it's a lot of fun. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you next time.